Hi everyone, I'm Joseph, and something that I've been thinking about recently has been Digimon Savers, and more specifically, just how much it's matured and grown up to that point when it released. So, I already explained this in my other Digimon video, but quick history about myself. I only watched when I was a kid up into Tamers. After that, I stopped, did not get into Frontier. I did watch bits and portions of it, but I just was not a fan of it. Totally ignored Savers. It didn't help as well that I never had cable when I was young. So once Digimon moved from national television over to cable television, that was it for me. um, it wasn't until recently that I started rewatching it, specifically subtitled, because I rewatched Adventure 1, 2, and Tamers because of the Adventure Try, because of Last Evolution. And after rewatching it, I was kind of in the mood for more Digimon. I never watched Frontier and doing some like, oops, excuse me guys, that was my pin. My cat knocked it over. No, that was a slight lie. I'm trying to blame her. It was myself. Excuse me for that. And I'm sorry to my cat for lying about that. Excuse me, but oh great, now I lost my train of thought. Um, uh, Yes, so Frontier, since I wanted some more Digimon, I did some light research, and the common consensus, well, the superficial consensus is that Frontier sucks, but when you do light research, the common consensus seems to be that if one goes in with an open mind, it's a pretty decent season. Yes, it is. I would have to agree it's the worst Digimon season, but it's just some positive aspects to it, some merit to it as well. And so I watched that subtitle, and now I'm watching Savers. I actually did do a review on Frontier. And Savers is just really catching me off guard. I'm really loving the fact that it's an older cast. So they're not an adult cast specifically. I believe only Yoshina, she's the only one who's 18, but Toma and Masaru, they're both 16. And then we do have the adult cast in terms of the rest of that. So we have Kurata, and everyone else who are actual adults. They're in their 20s. We're still following a cast of teenagers who, again, I would still say that they're young. Not as young as the or other cast of protagonists from the other seasons, right? But still on the younger side, right? But despite that, even that slight difference from being literal children to teenagers, it's really cool being able to see them being able to drive themselves. Because there was two points in the original series where they had to get over that hurdle, the fact that they couldn't drive for themselves, and also just the fact that this season really subverts expectations in a really great way, I think. So, minor spoilers, but right now I'm on episode, I believe, 29. Let me quickly double check. Yes, 29 out of 48. And the show keeps doing where it's following the same beats as the other Digimon seasons. For example, discovering a new uh, child, a new chosen child, whatever one wants to think about it, and they join the cast, right? But they're doing it in such a way where it's just a little bit different. This time, the child actually lives in the digital world. But I think it was cool how the dad didn't, when they discovered him, he didn't specifically want the child back. He had to learn that it was his son. And of course, the mom, by the way, wanted to see him again, even though he was missing for about, 12 years by that point. That's not the example I wanted to focus on. The example I really want to focus on right now is just so I thought for sure they were going to go into their so I'm going to use the Japanese term since I'm watching it subbed. But I thought they were going to go into their perfect, or pardon me, their ultimate evolutions. Right now they were at the perfect level: Makiagomon, Rise Greymon, and not Leilamon, Lilamon. And I've been waiting. They're fighting this group of enemies who so we, oh wait, so we'll discuss this, then we'll discuss the villain after that because it's kind of it connects to this. But the villains that they're fighting is a combination of Digimon and human DNA individuals fused together, and those are the bad guys. And I thought for sure they're obviously their perfect level, or pardon me, their ultimate level. They even state so. And I'm thinking, oh, this is the episode. I think it was episode 27 or 28. I'm thinking this is the episode where we're finally going to get their ultimate evolutions. But no, instead Kurata comes and rescues the dance members, the younger ones. I was totally for that. I do like Kurata's character and his little Digimon. Unfortunately, I can't recall his name. I do like his evolution too. That was cool. And then they fight them again with Jurimon. So just the lead up, the fight with Jurimon was really intense. They're like torturing Jurimon practically and asking him, do you have any last words, laughing at him, mocking him. And again, I'm thinking, yes, this is it. We're going to get the ultimate evolutions. But no, they kind of just foreshadow it a little bit. They show the silhouettes, but it doesn't actually occur. Not just yet. And I'm loving that. I felt like if it was Adventure 1, 2, even Tamers, that would have been the moment that we did get the perfect evolution. And there's also one other aspect right now I can't really recall, unfortunately. So, Savers, I am watching at a slower pace. I actually want to enjoy myself and take in the plot. I'm not going to lie, with Frontier, I was kind of just quote unquote gobbling it up because I not that I wanted to get through it to finish it, but rather I wanted to get through it because the story was I wanted to see where the story was going. I was intrigued with the story. But in this instance with Savers, it's very character focused, and so I want to take in what the characters are doing, and that's going to connect to the story as a whole. And so there's been a couple other instances where it's subverted expectations in that way too. And despite being aimed towards a younger audience, I am just loving the strong writing. So for example, there's been a lot of great foreshadowing in Savers. Like the first episode I thought was so kind of goofy how Masuru and Agumon literally have a fist fight with one another. And I thought it was just silly, but they make it connect. There's an episode where the main cast loses their memory, and Agumon he's helping Masaru get his memory back, and he takes him to where they first met, where they first fought one another. And Masaru, it doesn't work, and I was shocked. I thought for sure once they got to that point, oh yeah, of course, Agumon, hello. Excuse me, that was a hiccup, but it didn't occur in that way. Um, and what ends up having to happen instead is that Agumon goes, "Oh, you idiot!" and he has to punch Masaru. And as he punches him, he has flashbacks to how Masaru tells Agumon, "Wow, I really respect the way you fight. I respect the way that you were throwing your punches. You remind me a little bit of myself." And that's how they started connecting. After they had their fight, they started communicating, and that's how they formed their relationship. As silly as it sounds, that's foreshadowing from the first episode. And now it foreshadowed how that would be an element that's going to be an important factor for their relationship. And they do keep coming back to the fact that Masaru's trying to become the ultimate fighter, quote unquote. But it's just so cool. There's other elements like that too, where there's little bits of symbolism, little bits of motifs, where they're just doing a more mature job than I thought they'll be doing. It just gets me really excited for Digimon Seekers, which will be coming out in April. If you're unaware about that, it's a light novel that's going to be primarily, a novel is primarily word focused. I'm really looking forward to that with an older cast. And I keep hearing good things about Digimon Ghost Game. I am planning on watching that eventually. Actually, before I got into that, I wanted to watch. Well, actually, it's because of my Vital bracelet that I wanted to watch Frontier first because I want to make sure I don't like to waste my money and I didn't want to just buy something because it was Digimon. But I ended up liking it, so I got the dim cards for that. And of course, I'm going to get the dim cards for Savers. How can I not? Gammon, so cute. And of course, Lalaman. I wish you can Lalaman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I didn't get that. I just got embarrassed. Anywho, but yeah, I'm just really enjoying Digimon Savers. For sure, I'll be doing a brief review video on Savers. But I'm debating if I should watch Appmon. Same thing with Frontier. The superficial consensus is that it sucks, but when you dig deeper beneath it, the comic consensus seems to be that if one gives it a fair chance, it's actually quite intriguing, quite good. And I see a lot of comments saying that it might be the best season of Digimon. But my one concern is that apparently Appmon was specifically written for a children demographic, so for children. So um, I won't lie, that does it does make that a little bit off putting for me. But who knows? Maybe I shouldn't judge a show by its screen. Right, so far Frontier and Savers has been proving me wrong, especially Savers. But yeah, I can't wait to finish Savers to see where it's gonna go. And before I leave, I just have to say, if I ever want people to get into Digimon, I think I'm going to recommend Savers first. And if they've never seen the original seasons, I would recommend Savers and let them know if you enjoyed Savers, uh, go back and watch the original Adventure 2, and Tamers, because they're, although not as strong narratively as Savers, the fact that it's just so. The relationship between the Digimon and the children, I think, makes up for that. It's much more character focused, and but yeah, they both have their merits. I'm very fortunate. I'm happy that I grew up with Digimon. I'm happy that I rediscovered Digimon. I grew up with the dub. Really, I do have to agree. I think subtitled is much more significant, much more substantial and nuanced than the dub. And that's not a knock towards the dub. I think the dub had a different objective versus the subtitled version. Excuse me. But yeah, no, I'm just really loving uh, re-immersing myself in the world of Digimon, and I'm making sure I'm not in a state of arrested development as well, because I've been doing great professionally, personally, and also physically as well. So, and it's just been so cool to know that Digimon's been a factor. Well, I wouldn't say it's been a cornerstone, as in it's been encouraging me to change my life, but it's been a tool that I've been using to help me. I was already changing my life, but I'm using it as a tool to help me stay on that course, to reinforce those changes. And excuse me, that was a hiccup. Now I'm starting to sound like a soapbox, but anywho, can't wait to finish Savers. Can't wait to make a brief review on Savers. And again, if you have seen it, let me know what your thoughts about it. Let me know what your thoughts on it are. And yeah, take care, everyone. Hi again, everyone. So this is actually in addition to the previous video. I prematurely ended it. I think I got a bit embarrassed because I got personal at the end when talking about my personal love for Digimon. I meant to circle back and discuss the villain of Digimon Savers. And I'm happy that this ended up working out in my favor, because it gave me the opportunity to correct myself. In the first half of the video, I stated that the captain of DATS was Kurata. That was a mistake. His name is actually Satsuma. I may not be pronouncing it correctly, so forgive me. But I am watching it with subtitles. But again, his name is Satsuma, Satsuma, something along that nature. Kurata is actually the name of the villain. So the reason why I got so excited when I was discussing, when I thought that the main cast was going to go into their perfect evolutions, they were fighting against the Digimon / human DNA new form of Digimon, was because their Digimon code infused with human DNA. That's some really Mary Shelley Frankenstein level of quote unquote horror. What I like about Kurata so much is just that he's very much an individual who does not want to take accountability or responsibility. He has too much of an ego. When he gets embarrassed, instead of admitting that he made a mistake, he doubles down in his opinions, and he forces other people to have his own perspective. This is the first time in Digimon where they're using words such as genocide, where they're wiping out villages, and these villages don't have like rookie or child level Digimon. They're just babies in training forms. And so it's been really, I'm not going to lie, even though it is aimed towards a younger audience, sometimes it's a bit hard to watch in terms of like, oh, what are you doing to those poor innocent Digimon? For example, in the episode I just watched, Jurymon was protecting the injured Digimon, and they were all just, of course, on the floor, weak and disheveled, and there were some other Digimon taking care of other weakened Digimon. It was just a really sad scene, and of course they show the enemy, the fake Digimon. So in Savers, Kurata is it seems it's being implied that they've been capturing Digimon, and I suppose getting rid of what makes them Digimon, their individualism, just making them robots essentially. They're called Gizbotmon or something like that. They've only popped up a couple of times, Gizmon, but they're essentially Digimon who have been removed again of their individualism, what makes them Digimon, and used more as tools, which really sucks. It's a horrible idea, and a little bit veering into a little bit, maybe not cosmic horror, but definitely leaning more into a more dark setting. And the Kurata, the villain, but they're not just, so they establish in Savers that when a Digimon quote unquote passes away, they're not truly dead. They go back into a digital egg and they start their life over again. Well, here comes Kurata, who goes, no, I don't like that. And he's creating these weapons that completely just deletes the Digimon. So it kills the Digimon, they revert back to their egg, but then the egg just gets deleted. So effectively they die. And so far the Savers has been doing a really great job of making the audience feel the impact of that. And not to say, I think Kurata might be the best villain that Savers has had, because he's a very quote unquote realistic villain. He's not just a Digimon that wants to take over the world. He's not just a entity that ended up getting out of control of the D-Arc. He's a human individual who's just very egotistical and refuses to accept other perspectives. And he's following his agenda, and because of this, that's what's causing all this turmoil. I'm also just really appreciating the theme of Savers as a whole as well. Humans versus Digimon. Despite our differences, we should work together, humans and Digimon, coexisting together. And yeah, so I did forget to go back and circle back to Kurata because again I got a bit embarrassed about my discussing my or gushing over my love for Digimon. But again, this is why I'm getting so excited watching this because as an individual who appreciates storytelling and deconstruction of characters and looking at what makes those individuals them, there's actually so much to look at with Savers. And again, I know Frontier is not as nuanced or as in depth, but it's been a really great breath of fresh air seeing how instead of just giving up, Bandai, I guess, or whoever wrote Savers, seeing how the reaction towards Frontier was, and went, well, you know what, let's try to get back the original audience and not just try to get them back, but also show them why they should stick with us. And yeah, so again, I'm looking forward to doing the brief review. Excuse me for having to do a amendum to the previous one, but thank you for your patience. Have a great day, everyone, and take care.